You know, when you're at a birthday party or like some form of celebration, and at the end of the night, a cake comes out, and then someone starts cutting the slice of cake. And then another person goes around with the slice of cake on little paper plates and says, "Do you want cake? Do you want a slice of cake?" And then most of the people are like, "I'll just have a sliver," or like, "No, I'm good. I don't want a slice." Well, those of you who clicked on this video, we are not those kind of people, okay? We are the kinds of people who have a full slice of cake, even if we're super full from dinner. In fact, if we could have more than one slice of cake, if it was socially acceptable, we would. Well, lucky for you, with these recipes, you can have an entire cake to yourself, and all of them are between 400 to 500 calories for the entire thing. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Amanda, aka Fit Food AE, and today we're gonna be making 3 high-protein, low-calorie cake recipes. This way, you can enjoy an entire cake to yourself and still stay within your macros. So if you're excited to see me make these recipes, please give this video a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, as it really helps the channel and I post new videos every week. And with that, let's get started. So with this first cake, I feel like most of people love it or hate it, but a lot of people love it, which is why I decided to make it. And that is a carrot cake. I feel like carrot cake is the kind of cake that people who don't normally like other types of cake enjoy because it's just different. It's like the black sheep of the cake family, if that makes sense. So of course, for this recipe, as well as like all my other cake recipes on this channel, all my dessert recipes for that matter, that involve protein powder, I use Pea Science. So for this particular recipe, I'd actually use the cake pop flavor. So you could definitely use cake pop or vanilla, but I would honestly recommend using Snickerdoodle if you have that on hand. Of course, if you do want to purchase Pea Science, please use my discount code FIT15. So for this carrot cake, you're gonna need an actual carrot, obviously who knew, as well as a grater to like grate the carrot into pieces. Or if you're lucky and your grocery store sells like actual grated carrot, then you could just use that. For this cake recipe, as well as all the others, I used a mini 4.5-inch springform pan. So you can find this on my Amazon store. The link is actually in my description. When you're pouring the batter in for this recipe, make sure to spray the springform pan with cooking spray. And of course, the bake time is going to vary with this recipe as it does with a lot of the other recipes, just depending on your oven. So just ensure to check it at around the 20-minute mark. Stick a fork in the middle to make sure it comes out clean. That means the cake is ready. I personally love carrot cake, but mostly for the cream cheese frosting. I'm a frosting girl through and through. I could literally eat it by the spoonful. A lot of the times at celebrations when there's cake involved, people will say like, "Do you want the rest of my icing?" because they only like the cake part. Well, I'm the opposite. I like the frosting part the best. Now for the cream cheese frosting, I will admit that it'll turn out the best if you have one of those electric mixers to blend the ingredients together. But if you just have like a whisk or even a fork, that's fine. If it's not perfect, that's totally okay. You're not posting this on YouTube. I am, so. And with this recipe, as well as the other 2 recipes, make sure the cake is cooled completely before frosting it. Otherwise, the frosting is just gonna melt off. And now you're all done. Hope you guys enjoy. So this next recipe is a little bit fancier, if I must say. So it's a standard chocolate cake, but it's actually a chocolate layer cake. So there's like a layer of frosting in the middle. It's delicious. You guys are gonna love it. It's one of my favorites. So for this recipe, I'm also using Pea Science protein, but I actually use the chocolate truffle flavor. Of course, you could use frosted chocolate cupcake or any other chocolate protein you have on hand. The macros on this recipe are actually insane. Like, I literally can't believe it's just over 400 calories and over 50 grams of protein. You guys are gonna love this one. Whenever I use cocoa powder, I always use the Hershey's brand personally. It's the best on the macros, but of course use whatever you have on hand. So you'll also notice that I use fat-free chocolate pudding mix in this recipe. Now, this is a bit of a controversial one because I know that a lot of people don't have access to it. Like in the UK, for example, I don't think they have it. So it makes the cake more like moist and gooey, but you can omit it if you don't have access to it. By the way, how do we feel about the word moist? Like, I've used it a lot, obviously, because I make recipe content, but I know a lot of people hate that word. So of course, just like the other recipe, please make sure that the cake is fully cooled before frosting. So this frosting, it's easier to mix. You won't need like the electric mixer or anything like that because it doesn't involve cream cheese or anything. So you should just like be able to mix it with a spoon. I know it's tempting to like lick all the frosting with a spoon, but make sure not to do that because you need enough for the middle layer and the top layer of the cake. And now you're done. This looks delicious. For this last cake, this might seem like an odd choice to some people if you hadn't heard of Biscoff before or if you've never tried it. But if you've been on my channel long enough, you know that I'm a huge fan of Biscoff. So yeah, this cake is Biscoff flavored. It's 500 calories and it's absolutely delicious. It's going to be based off of this right here, Biscoff spread. So I live in Canada, and as far as I know, here in Vancouver, you can't buy Biscoff in stores, but I just purchased it on Amazon. It is so worth it. So for this recipe, I use PE Science Snickerdoodle protein because of course it's like cinnamony, caramel-esque, just like this recipe is. But if you don't have one of those on hand, you could just use vanilla protein, but then add some cinnamon to it. So inside the actual cake, we actually add crushed Biscoff cookie crumbs just to add like a certain texture element to it. So I would say the Biscoff spread is essential, and I think the Biscoff cookies are essential. But if you don't have those, you could use like any other graham cracker type cookies or like graham cracker crumbs. But you can buy the Biscoff cookies on Amazon as well. But I feel like most stores also sell them. Now the frosting of this recipe, oh my God, it's some of the best frosting I've ever tasted simply because it is Biscoff based and it took everything out of me to not just like eat this with a spoon. Of course, we're gonna make sure the cake is fully cool before frosting it. And as you can see, I'm not great at frosting. Like I'm no Betty Crocker, but I simply just use like a spoon to spread it out and then a butter knife to kind of like even out the layers. And now we're done. I'm so jealous of any of you that have this in front of you. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoy me making these recipes, I'm sure you love protein cakes and are looking for more of those. So I'm gonna link a couple other protein cake recipes on the screen that you could watch next. And please be sure to give this video a like, subscribe, and share it with your friends, as it really helps the channel and I post new videos every week. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Bye.